What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity? I hope you guys are doing well. I came across this post from Charlie Intel over on Twitter recently, and it really got me thinking. So he asked, what's one thing you hope to see in Treyarch's new Call of Duty game this year? And of course, as soon as I read this, my mind went to all these different avenues. Changes, amendments, new features. There's a lot that I'd like to see in the next Call of Duty game, and maybe I'll do a more in-depth video later on, closer to the game's release. But as it stands right now, if there's one thing, it's really difficult. Because, of course, I'd like to see improvements made to the spawn system, to the hit registration, to the overall connectivity of the game. Matchmaking needs improvements. I'd also like to see some classical elements brought back in the game. Things like classical prestige, theater mode, some social features that are definitely lacking in modern day Call of Duty. But the more that I got to thinking, the more that I wrote ideas down, I kept coming back to one singular idea. And it might be a little bit of a cheat, but I'm going to go with it anyways. The one big change I'd like to see for the new Black Ops game is revamping the create a class system. Completely stripping it down from where it is now and rebuilding it. And it might just be replacing it with a classic pick 10 system, which I'd be more than happy with. But take elements from what works right now and couple it with what worked before. Because I think we've kind of lost the plot with the attachment situation in Call of Duty, because holy smokes, is there just far too many attachments, far too many ways to unlock things, and it's just a lot. It's overbearing, realistically. Like, it just is. It's complex for complexity's sake for whatever reason, and I don't really understand why. I know I've gone on about this in the past, but it bears repeating. This is a very silly system. And it's not just the attachment system I want to completely overhaul and change. It's also the perk system. I mean, Modern Warfare 3 made improvements on what Modern Warfare 2 did, because if I'm going to be completely honest, the perk system in MW2 might be the worst thing I've ever seen in a Call of Duty game. I would argue Ghost had a better perk system than what we had in MW2, because we had time release perks, which made absolutely zero sense, and to this day, I still don't know what they were going with. They took away the choice from the player, and that was really frustrating. But I think Modern Warfare 3 has also made a bit of a misstep. I like that they've tried to go back to that classical 3-tier perk system, and they've tried to add their own spin on it with the vest system as well, by restricting certain items, equipment, or perk slots, depending on what kind of vest you have, which, albeit, is fine. But there's something special about the pick 10 system. There's something that I love about that simplicity, because the pick 10 system, although simple, had a lot of depth to it. It wasn't as simple as, oh, just pick 3 perks, a primary, an attachment, a secondary, and attachment. No, there was more depth to it than that, and that's what I really liked. You could swap out tacticals, swap out lethals, you could have multiple perks in one perk slot, and you could customize your experience your way, not fit into some neat little predetermined package that they want for you. You could play the game however you want. And then when you want to do these special challenges, like what you had in Black Ops 2 to get your weapons diamond, where you have to have 5 attachments on a gun or no attachments, and you can really play around with things, and it adds a variety to the game. There's a new variable every time you play, which is really nice. And you don't get these consistent same setups that everyone uses. There is a little bit more than what we have right now. It seems people are pretty standardized on what they use. And I just think that variety, the spice of life, the spice of gaming, we need more of it. And I think by revamping the create a class system and really giving more choice back to the player is a good thing. Now, obviously not as much choice as what we have in the attachment department, but definitely in the perk department. Let players pick and choose what they want, customizing exactly what they want in their loadout. Just give them free reign. And to move back to the attachments, something that I don't want to talk about too long, I don't think you need 60 different attachments for each grip or each reticle or each foregrip. I don't think that's necessary. Instead, what I'd like to see is 2 or 3 attachments per attachment slot. So, like, 2 different foregrips, 2 different rear grips, 2 different stocks that either help your sprint speed or help your recoil control. That, in my opinion, should be the main focus. So you can customize your setup to fit how you want to play so it all works together instead of you following some very specific meta. Unlock this attachment by doing this challenge so that you can now have the best whatever it is muzzle in the game. No, your muzzle does one of two things. It either helps with your hip fire accuracy or it helps with your recoil control. Something like that, right? Like nothing too crazy outside the box. Remember, hone it in, keep it simple. I think the best Call of Duty's been is when they stay within that simplicity bubble, when they don't try to venture too far and try to provide the player with an overabundance of choice. Because I think there's a pretty solid consensus on the attachment situation right now in MW3. It's just too bogged down. It's too many. I mean, it's too much content, which I know sounds counterintuitive to what I've been talking about for the last few years, but I think we're at a point where there's just too much and you're sacrificing content for quality. And I just don't think that's a sacrifice that needs to be made and a concession that they should continue to make. Pick one lane and stick to it. If you want to provide quality gameplay, I think giving the player less choice, but allowing them to customize towards the playstyle they want to work within is optimal. Because that's the way it used to be, and it used to work just fine, at least in my opinion. Of course, I think a lot of people would agree, considering the fact that Black Ops 2 is still a lot of players' favorite Call of Duty game, and rightfully so. There was a lot of choice for the player, but it wasn't an overabundance of choice. You weren't exchanging choice for complexity. It was very simple choices you had to make, but they were yours. You could customize your class and your gun how you wanted, and you were able to stay competitive. You know, there's attachments in this game that are completely useless to your weapon, and if you run them, you're actually at a huge disadvantage. And I don't really know why they're even in the game to begin with. I don't know why you would put the time and the effort to do that. It just seems so pointless. But anyways, I'm running long on this commentary. I just thought that that would be the main decision that I'd make if I had one wish for Treyarch's new Call of Duty game. Because I think it would just make the quality of life of the game better. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section, whether it's on my decision for the one thing I'd like to see, or it's something you want to see. Let me know with a comment down below. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.